pretty much what's breaking news. We need about this. This is going to be along the lines of exactly what we talked about when the Norfolk Southern train derailment happened in East Palestine, Ohio, February 3rd, 2023, I believe is the correct time frame there. This is along those lines, but actually way worse. So let's just jump into this. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Whoever shows up for this, let me know if you can hear me during the live chat afterwards. I don't really guess it matters. You should be able to hear or read the closed caption once YouTube has figured out exactly what this is. But let me know you guys can hear me before we get underway with what's going on. 5x5. Love y'all. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. So like I said, we're going to be short and to the point here. You guys remember when, most of you probably remember, whether you watched it here or not, wherever you saw it, about what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, with that train derailment and the subsequent release of the vinyl chloride that was in those tankers, right? And they released the vinyl chloride into the air, into the ground, set it on fire, massive, just shit pile of stuff that happened negatively because of this vinyl chloride, okay? Well, this is what's happening now. Also in Ohio, I want to make it clear, it's not train related. There is no derailment. There is nothing along those lines. This place that this has occurred is 4 hours away from East Palestine, Ohio. So it's not even like it's in the same vicinity, which is the first thing I checked. But right now there are massive evacuations underway in Vinton County, which is in Ohio, as agencies respond to nitric acid leak at a manufacturing plant. Now we're going to talk about exactly why this is worse than East Palestine, Ohio, which is absolutely awful. I want to thank Gail. C sent me an email. I just saw it regarding this whole thing. It's not something that's hit mainstream anywhere yet. So thank you, Gail, for this. So we have the ability to have this conversation. But this is what's happening. Okay, they are saying there is a storage tank containing 50,000 gallons of nitric acid that was leaking. All right. Residents in the village of Zaleski are being asked to evacuate the area. Now, obviously, I hear Zaleski, and my brain thinks Zelensky and Ukraine and whatever else, because this place that happens to have this leak right now, this nitric acid is used for explosives and things like that, for our military and things like that. And just how my brain works, it's just very crazy, right? But it says here that this is, like I said, it's newer, that's going on right now. The Vinton County Sheriff's Office told 10 TV that there was a confirmed leak at Austin Powder. That's the name of the location, which is at 32,000 Powder Plant Road in MacArthur. It says Jackson County Emergency Management Director Robert Cholowski, stated that a storage tank containing 50,000 gallons of nitric acid was leaking. He explained there was a miscommunication and there were 3,000 gallons of nitric acid leaking from a 5,000 gallon tank, which I don't think is accurate. That there was a leak in Arizona in March of the same thing, nitric acid from a 3,000 gallon tank into a 5,000 gallon tank. This one, they're still saying 50,000 everywhere else I have checked. So we're sticking with 50,000 here. It says fire responders from the MacArthur Fire Department and Jackson and Ross counties are assisting with the incident. And I want you guys to see this photo, if I can make this photo bigger. Look at this picture. That orange in the air, that is the fumes, the gas from the nitric acid that is leaking. Please understand, this is a very, very big deal. They will try to downplay the shit out of it because they saw what happened with the vinyl chloride in East Palestine, Ohio. That vinyl chloride is nowhere near as catastrophic for humans and the environment as the nitric acid is. Okay, so let's continue on here. It says here, according to the company's website, Austin Powder is headquartered in Cleveland, but their manufacturing facility is in Vinton County. It's known as Red Diamond, okay? The company produces industrial explosives used for mining and construction purposes. A spokesperson with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, told 10 TV that the agency was aware of the chemical leak and that a coordinator from the emergency response was going to the site to investigate. Now they have, like I said, they're evacuating the area. But what I want you guys to fully understand, let me get to my notes here, because I had to do a little digging and a little research to figure out exactly what's going on. So I want you to know the area that they have closed off. It says it at the bottom of the article, which I'll go back to, but they have this entire area closed off, road to road. This is a massive amount of land that they have closed off, right? And somebody says here, let me pull the thing back up so I can tell you the roads that are closed. Hold on, it's going slow. Okay, so the closures are, the Ohio Department of Transportation reports that State Route 278 is closed from Park Road 9 to US 50. All lanes are also closed on State Route 677 at US 50. So for those of you who know the area, hopefully that will help you stay clear of it. But please understand, you can close the roads, but they can't close the airspace. You saw that plume, is what I'm going to call it, of the nitric acid that's in the air. It will disperse left, right, whatever. It doesn't care about your road closures. It's going to go wherever it's going to go. Now, the reason this is a big deal, and let me bring up all my notes here. Y'all know how I like to have some form of accuracy when I do things. Okay. So when nitric acid, which is HNO3, leaks into the air, it can have significant environmental health and safety impacts due to its highly reactive and corrosive nature. Now, the highly reactive and corrosive nature of vinyl chloride is nowhere near the scale as it is of nitric acid. And we have seen over the last 2 years, we've heard how many people have been sick from everything that happened with the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment and that vinyl chloride that Mike DeWine and the police, the fire chief, purposely lit on fire, right? And then that plume went everywhere. There were people in all the way up to New Jersey who were saying that they were seeing dust particles settling down on their cars and all these other places. This is way worse, okay? And I'm not trying to like scare the crap out of people. Y'all know that's not whatever, but I want you to be fully aware of exactly what this really truly is, because we already know mainstream media will downplay the shit out of everything because of how much money it could potentially cost these companies that are now leaking the nitric acid, for how much it could cost if they have to pay people for them getting sick or whatever else. So listen, I want to give you kind of, this is going to be like a biology lesson. Is it biology when you're talking about stuff? Whatever. It's a lesson. All right. Ready? Nitric acid is a volatile liquid that readily releases vapors when exposed to air, which is exactly what's happening. These vapors can form a visible reddish-brown cloud of nitrogen dioxide, which is NO2 gas, which is exactly what we saw in that picture, especially if the acid decomposes or reacts with other substances. They haven't said if there's any other substance in the area, but you know how much shit is in our air, so it's going to react with whatever's already up in the air, right? The reaction of nitric acid with moisture in the air can produce fine mist or aerosols of nitric acid, which are highly corrosive and can linger in the atmosphere. Y'all, it's raining everywhere today. I swear, everywhere there is rain, okay? Now, these are your health hazards, and this is what's important for those of you who are in the area. And not just that little vicinity, but everywhere around it, because again, air moves. I don't care about your road closures. This shit's in the air. It will go left, right, up, down, back, forth, all of it. Right? So your inhalation risk. Inhaling nitric acid vapors or nitrogen dioxide, which is what it is now that it's out in the air, can cause severe respiratory irritation leading to symptoms like coughing, choking, shortness of breath, and chest pain. High exposure may result in pulmonary edema, which is fluid buildup in the lungs, which can be life-threatening. So those people who happen to be in the closest vicinity of it, they're going to be the worst off if they are inhaling these fumes that are being released into the air, right? Now you have skin and eye contact. Same thing they had issues with in East Palestine, Ohio, or anywhere there's been any sort of chemical leak or whatever. You're going to have to worry if the mist or vapors come in contact with skin or eyes, they can cause severe burns, irritation, and permanent damage. Chronic exposure. So prolonged or repeated exposure to low levels of nitric acid vapors may lead to chronic respiratory issues or dental erosion. What the crap, dental erosion. But everything that's in the air now, what goes up must come down. So everywhere it's going, it will come down at some point. It's not just going to fully dissipate. That's not how it works. It will rain down, which sounds terrifying. It will rain down. It will fall down. So these are things you guys need to really, truly know about. Now, you have to worry about acid rain contribution, right? Nitric acid in the air can contribute to acid rain when it reacts with water vapor, forming nitric acid droplets that lower the pH of precipitation. This can harm ecosystems, damage vegetation, and acidify soil and water bodies. Now, where this is located, because I don't have a map pulled up in front of me of it, and if I jump out of this, it'll take me forever to get back. There is the possibility that there are farms around this area. There could be lakes around this area. There could be a water system for drinking around this area. For those of you who are in this area, please let people in the live chat know. I know a couple of you, I saw a Maria and somebody else say they live in the vicinity of that area. Please let us all know if there are any farms that you know of there, if there are any bodies of water there that need to be worried about, because again, this is a very big deal and they're going to downplay the crap out of it. So it's going to be up to the non-mainstream, which is us and everybody else, right? Whether it's on X, here, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, to spread this information. Same thing as what happened with East Palestine, Ohio. They tried to downplay it, but a lot of us were like, no, this is a big deal, right? So then you have to worry about the smog that could form. So when you see in the next days or so the smog, and they're going to tell you it's just regular fog, please understand in that area it's probably from this nitric acid that is fully up already in the air. We've already seen the pictures of it. Right now you also have to worry about fire and explosion risk, which is the other thing. That nitric acid was there because it's used for making explosive materials for, they said, mining and construction, but who else knows what else, right? Nitric acid is a strong oxidizer. If it leaks into the air and comes into contact with flammable materials or organic compounds, it can cause fires or explosions. So once again, this is a very big deal because there's been a lot of wildfires, and I'm going to do this every single time. A lot of wildfires. We had, I believe it was just a week ago, all those wildfires from Canada, which obviously not near Ohio. You got a nice separation of distance there. But all the wildfires that were going on in Canada, the smoke from it was, you know, working its way down into the northern part of the United States. And there was a lot of breathing issues there. This in and of itself, if there's any wildfires that happen to be in the area of where this is occurring or in the general vicinity of it, there is always the possibility that this could ignite some sort of poof, right? So please be aware of that as well. A nitric acid leak requires immediate response, including evacuation of the affected area, use of protective equipment, and neutralization of the acid. It says with a base like sodium bicarbonate to prevent further spread of vapors. So the area where it's leaking from, they're going to have to go in there, and I'm guessing with some sodium bicarbonate, which is, isn't that just like salt? Unless I'm having a brain fart, which always possible. They're going to have to go in there and try to basically soak it up, sop it up, stop it at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Look, I want to make sure we have all the information here. In case of a leak, follow strict protocols for containment and neutralization, blah, blah, blah. What's interesting is I just saw somebody, baking soda, so salt-ish. No, baking soda is not salt. That's not the same, right? No. So somebody just said that it's a low population area. And again, that's just like East Palestine, Ohio, a very low population area where all this happened. It's always crazy to me, the coincidences of some of these things when they happen. Now, you want there to be a low population in areas where they are dealing with nitric acid and things like that. You don't want a ton of people living right next door to it in case something like this happens. I'm pretty sure that's probably why the processing plant is out where it is. But at the end of the day, there are still people there. There are the people who work there. There are the people who now have to go in and take care of it. There are the people who live in the general vicinity. And there's the people who are going to be affected by everything that's going up in the air, right? Now, I asked because I wanted to know the difference. I said, okay, what is the difference here between this nitric acid and vinyl chloride? Because we know how bad the vinyl chloride affected the people, like I said, in East Palestine, Ohio and surrounding areas. Is this going to be worse or the same? And so I asked when you inhale it, because that's what we're going to have to worry about is the inhalation of this nitric acid. So comparing the inhalation risk of nitric acid, which again, HNO3, and vinyl chloride, which is C2H3Cl, involves evaluating their acute and chronic health effects, toxicity, and exposure risk. Both are hazardous, but their impacts differ based on chemical properties, exposure levels, durations, blah, blah, blah. What basically it comes down to is that nitric acid vapors and mist are highly corrosive, whereas the vinyl chloride doesn't have the same corrosive properties. So breathing in that vinyl chloride for the people in East Palestine, Ohio and surrounding areas wasn't nearly as bad as for people who will be breathing in this nitric acid. Now, the reason this is a big deal is because the CDC, I'm trying to remember all the numbers here. Y'all work with me. So Norfolk Southern, because of the vinyl chloride in East Palestine, Ohio, they've paid out over $1 billion total with everything that's going on, right? And you have the over 600 million of it, I believe, has gone towards the CDC setting up health, not clinics, that's not the right word, but health centers for people who were in the area to almost have lifelong health care because of all of the stuff they breathed in. because they don't know exactly what's going to happen, how long it will take for things to show up and things like that. So for Norfolk Southern to have already had to pay out $600 million for vinyl chloride for that small amount of people, and nitric acid is way worse. Imagine the amount of money that this Red Diamond, whatever I said the main name of the company was, imagine how much they're going to have to pay out for all of the people around that are going to have to now worry about what they're breathing in and everything else. Okay. So according to this, symptoms of the nitric acid include coughing, choking, chest pain, shortness of breath, which we've already talked about. Nitrogen dioxide, which is the byproduct of nitric acid decomposition, exacerbates respiratory damage. So people in the area who are breathing this in, who already have any sort of respiratory illness or damage, they're going to have a much harder time with the air that they are breathing in because of all of this, right? So then the I'm trying to make sure I give you stuff that matters and doesn't matter. Repeated exposure. What's funny to me is it's not classified as a carcinogen, but long-term irritation can lead to respiratory issues. So it's not classified as a carcinogen, which I feel like almost everything in our society these days should be classified because everything F's you up, right? It says it acts as a strong acid and oxidizer, directly damaging tissues and mucous membranes. And then onset effects are immediate, with severe symptoms developing quickly at high concentrations. And so again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, and it's not on purpose. It's just to really reiterate these points, that the area very close to it where we can see that plume, they are going to be at the most severe symptom area because of how high the concentration is right there, right? Now, vinyl chloride, all right? Vinyl chloride was a flammable gas it's got like a little odor to it, like kind of sort of sweet and smelling. You can smell it, but it caused dizziness and headaches and nausea and confusion at high concentrations. It does not have the same effect as what this nitric acid has at high concentrations. So the people with vinyl chloride, even though that one is a known human carcinogen, they're going to have, the people of East Palestine, Ohio, are going to have higher risk long-term for cancer because of the vinyl chloride that was out there. The people here in Zaleski, is that what we called it? Zaleski, Vinton County in Ohio, because of the nitric acid leak, they're going to have more issues pulmonary with breathing and lungs and things like that. And because it's not considered a carcinogen, at least that sounds really effing stupid to say it like that, but at least they're not going to have that long-term exposure worry of cancer. Unless, of course, later on they change their mind and go, you know what, never mind, it is a carcinogen and cancer is a thing. Like, anything is absolutely possible. You just never know. But according to this, nitric acid is generally more dangerous in acute exposures due to its immediate corrosive effects on the respiratory tract. Even low concentrations can cause severe irritation, and high exposures can be fatal within hours due to pulmonary edema, whereas vinyl chloride, you need higher concentrations for it to really, really, truly affect you, right? According to this, where's the rest? Short-term inhalation. Nitric acid is worse due to its immediate severe corrosive effects on the respiratory system. Okay. Long-term, though, vinyl chloride is worse due to its carcinogenic potential. So long-term, again, the vinyl chloride, short-term, the nitric acid, and then overall, the worst chemical depends on the scenario, right? For a single high exposure event, e.g. a spill or leak, which is what we have occurring right now with that nitric acid poses a greater immediate threat. For repeated or undetected exposure over time, vinyl chloride's cancer risk makes it more dangerous. So again, they're not the same, but I wanted to compare the two of them because, one, they're both in Ohio. They're both affecting the people of Ohio. But because the vinyl chloride, we know 2 years later, after that whole, cluster of what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, we know that vinyl chloride has caused long-term lasting damage for not just the people, but the soil, the water, the air in the area, like whatever. Now you have to worry about this nitric acid and what it's going to do to that same thing, to the humans, to the soil, to the water, right now, to the air. So I wanted to bring it to your attention just so you guys know what's happening and it doesn't go under the radar, since again, the mainstream medias don't like to really talk about anything. I remember when East Palestine, Ohio happened, the news station were like, oh, there's a train derailment. Nah. And I was like, no, that's more than just a train derailment. Look at what's actually happening here. And they didn't want to jump into it and really talk about it until people started really discussing it on social media. Then, excuse me, then mainstream media was like, oh, I guess we should discuss. But for those of you who didn't see the very beginning, this is currently, well, it's probably bigger than this by now. This is the cloud of the nitric acid that is leaking in Vinton County. And when it's visible like that, please understand it's going to be a big deal. This isn't one of those, oh, it's fine. It's just, it'll float away, blow away. Maybe, but it's still over you, and what goes up must come down. So people in the area really need to pay attention to what is going on. If you happen to be in the air in Vinton County or that area, and again, it's going to go wider than that. It's not just going to stay there because there's no way to stop the air. So be aware of what's going on. I generally am not a, duck your head and cover kind of person, but that does feel like what this needs to be. If you happen to be in that area and you have the ability to, scoot and get out of there for a little bit, I would highly suggest doing though. Personally, my opinion, they have the EPA going in. They're going to have even more than that over the next couple hours, I'm sure, because even if they contain the leak from the source, you still have to worry about what has already escaped, right? It's not what's left in the container. It's what has already left the container that is going to cause the most issues for the people around it. And this is not even near it, y'all. This is however far away, and look how big that is. So that's what she said. Anyway, this is why this is a big deal, because even in East Palestine, Ohio, let's see if we can pull up an East Palestine, Ohio Plume here. I have all the pictures on my computer, but I am on my iPad. East Palestine, Fat Finger, Ohio, Plume. I wonder if that'll pull it up. Norfolk Southern. I don't really know what words I'm supposed to type in here, so I just give it like a whole cacophony of them. I think that's the right word. Let's see, images. Come on, do your thing. Fat Finger. Okay, so here we go. This was, you guys, this is the picture everybody knows. Let me show you this one. Pull up, do your job. I pay for you monthly. Do your job. Please hold. It's, doing whatever the crap it wants to do. If we could just get some service here, that'd be great. Okay, thank you. We'll just do it this way. F it all. You guys can see all the different pictures, the plumes, like especially Fat Finger, that one there. That is after Mike DeWine and them decided to set everything on fire. Okay, I think that picture. Hello, where are we going here, Fat Fingers? That one. That's the one that was on all the covers of magazines and all this other stuff, right? That one there is after they set everything on fire. You can see how big that plume is of smoke. Imagine what it looked like before it was set on fire, but those vapor were in the air, but you can't see that vapor of, what's it called? Vapor of vinyl chloride. You can't see that, but you can see when it's set on fire. So just imagine how this is what it looked like. I need y'all to see this. Let's see if I can zoom this way. No, come back. I got to figure out how to make this part. I want you to see this one picture more than any of the other pictures. That's what it looked like over after it went up into the atmosphere. You could not see that much from down on the ground. You could see the whatever moving up, right? But you could not see what it was doing to the actual atmosphere above. That was East Palestine, Ohio, after they set it on fire. Now, once again, the nitric acid leak is not going to look like that because it's not going to set on fire. In theory, hopefully it doesn't catch fire, because it is combustible. But that orange, red, brown that you can see right now from the onset will go up. And at the end of the day, it's going to disperse. I don't know. This is me not knowing. This is ignorance on my part because I don't know about all these chemicals like that. But I don't know if as it rises and disperses, if you'll still be able to see the color that way. So maybe you won't notice how widespread it actually goes. But this is going to be a big deal. I don't care what anybody says. This is going to be a big deal. You can tell from the picture already from how corrosive the nitric acid is versus the vinyl chloride. The fact that it's also in Ohio pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. If it was somewhere else, I probably wouldn't be as pissed about it, only because Ohio continues to get the short end of the stick when it comes to things like this. And there was a leak in March of this year in Arizona But again, it was a 3,000 container that was spilling over into a 5,000 gallon container. And so it still had a little plume up into the air, but it wasn't a legit leak. It was a contained leak. So it's not exactly the same. This is a non-contained leak. So I wanted you guys to know exactly what's going on with it. I have a lot more to tell you guys later on a completely different live stream, but I wanted this one to be just, you know, centered on what this is so that people can look back and find it if they need to, or they want to tell people about it. If you know people in this area, please let them know, whether you share the live stream or just, you know, send them a text and say, hey, get the hell on out of Dodge, something like that, right? That's all we really need to do right now. But I will keep an eye on everything that's going on, and I plan on doing another live stream later on this afternoon on other topics that are very, very important to discuss. Not this, but I will give you any updates from this that I have at that time. That's the plan. So, Squirrel Tribe, I love y'all. Thank you for letting me talk to you about this during, I guess it's like a lunch break for a lot of people. And I don't know if I should say thank you, because nobody likes to have this discussion, right? Like I don't like having discussions of stuff like this because it's bad. I will say, though, that if it turns out, listen, because my brain, if it turns out that anybody in the vicinity of Vinton County also, for some reason, just got the My ID bracelets, just like East Palestine, Ohio, got the My ID bracelets where it tracks your health right before the derailment and the release of the vinyl chloride and the purposeful setting on fire of such vinyl chloride. If anybody in that area got the My ID bracelets right before this leak, please understand exactly where my brain is going to go with that and exactly how bad that would really, really be. So again, anybody in that area, if you know, if anybody has been given the My ID bracelets, whether it's through your doctor's office, through your town, through your whatever, I would really like to know that as well. Because again, the coincidences would be very eye-opening, right? Right. So y'all, I love you. Go about your business for now, and I'll see you guys again later on. Probably, I don't want to confirm a time, right? But in the evening, like before dinner, more like a supper time kind of thing. We should be back here again if you guys are interested. If not, no harm, no foul. I love you either way. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Until the next one, bye-bye.